DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Bills Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com. It's a Victory Monday for me. First one in a few weeks, so happy to be here for Paul Russo and Kyle Evans here with you this week. Bills back in the victory column, as I mentioned. 44-32 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday on Sunday. A windy afternoon in Orchard Park, a shootout win for the Bills. I'm sure the overbettors are thrilled, so we'll recap the game. Pretty big headline coming into and out of the game yesterday with Keon Coleman, so we'll talk on that. And obviously, Thursday night this week, short turnaround for the Bills as they're on the road in Houston against the Texans on Thursday Night Football. We'll preview that. And whatever else might pop up here in the next half hour to 45 minutes or so. But first, I think a couple more of our sponsors, including Nolan's Catering, playing a special event. Let Nolan's Catering help you curate your next occasion. Now booking special events at the Hotel Canandaigua, Tapestry Collection by Hilton on Lakeshore Drive, the Fallbrook House at the Canandaigua Country Club, or Nolan's on South Main Street in Canandaigua. Nolan's is ready to curate a food and beverage package perfect for any occasion, from elegant weddings to corporate events and private parties. Enjoy the moment knowing Nolan's has it covered. To plan your perfect event, visit nolansonthelake.com. And Seneca Falls Acupuncture. Seneca Falls Acupuncture offers personalized treatments for pain relief, women's health, digestive symptoms, cosmetic acupuncture, and more, helping you look and feel your best naturally. You can book your appointment online at senecafallsacupuncture.com to experience award-winning care right here in the Finger Lakes. All right. Well, Kyle, as I mentioned, I think the first and foremost thing, the most important thing here, if you're a Bills fan, is you got to win. You're back in the win column. Probably feel pretty good about that overall in that sense. And if you want a little bit more icing on that cake, it's against a pretty good team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 44-32 over what a lot of people kind of feel is one of the better teams, especially in the NFC South, but NFC a little bit overall. So on that front, you probably feel a little bit good for sure coming out with the victory yesterday.
Yeah, and it's not just the victory, I would say. I would say it's like how it was done offensively. They were pass first yesterday. The run didn't work out as well because, like I said last week, the Buccaneers probably watched film and saw what the Dolphins did, and that's sell out the run and limit James Cook and make the passing game beat you. Well, the difference this week was, inserting Gabe Davis, who, hasn't played with Buffalo since 23. Tyrell Shavers believe this or not, Tyrell Shavers had the most snaps among wide receivers yesterday, and he made plays and led the team in receiving. And then you look at a guy like McCole Hardman, who, ended up getting hurt, but he was big on the kickoff returns. He did play a few offensive snaps, took a deep shot. That's the thing, too. There was a lot of vertical shots that we had not seen this offense run, and it just looked different and felt different, and I think you just go into next week and the weeks after more encouraged, especially because you didn't have Dalton Kincaid. And Khalil Shakir had -3 yards, and they still put up 44 points.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you peel back the onion, there's a lot of good that did happen yesterday. There are some things I think we should probably get to a degree, that some people aren't going to view as positive, obviously, but you mentioned Shavers. He was a guy we talked about a lot in the preseason, did a lot of good in the preseason. Finally breaks out a little bit. You mentioned he had the most snaps. He led the team in receiving yesterday, had a touchdown. You mentioned the deep shot. It was off a deep shot. And you kind of saw, it's something I think we talked about last week a little bit too, right? Is I think you finally saw a little bit of, in good and bad ways, but more so in the good, Josh Allen kind of just be the Josh Allen from a couple years ago, where it was however you want to call it, kind of like renegade football, right? Just we're going to sling the ball around. He's going to run around, and whatever happens kind of happens, and it ends up in the positive with a win for the Bills. Yeah, it was really good to see. I know Davis, you saw him obviously yesterday. You saw Hardman as well yesterday. It was just one of those things where at the end of the day, yeah, I think, Bills fans, you should probably still really wanted a guy that from the deadline that is better than any of them. But the fact of the matter was, you saw the difference a little bit. I don't know, maybe especially on the Davis front. Maybe I'm reading too deep into this, or not at all. I think Josh probably felt a little bit better, at least having a familiar face in addition to some other guys around, right? In that sense, where opportunities could be there, and you try and take advantage of them. I think there's a fair look. For me, it's not doing it justice because I believe in the type of stuff like this, but like I think the chemistry element, the familiarity with the guy is huge where you can do that. And I think you kind of saw stuff like that pay some dividends yesterday for sure.
Yeah, especially with Dalton Kincaid out, he's been the guy that he seems to trust the most. And other than that, I mean, we talked about it every week. There's like Khalil Shakir and then who? So I think, yeah, you could tell that Josh trusted Gabe Davis. I mean, he went to him on a 4th and 4. He went to him on a 3rd down. He tried firing a ball into him on like a 1-yard slant, but it went off his chest. Yeah. It would have been a touchdown. You could just see, though, in big moments, he was going to Gabe Davis. And I mentioned it, and I know we've all mentioned it, Gabe Davis is actually still really young. I believe he's 29, 28.
If you give me a second, I can double check that, yeah.
Like, he's not even in his 30s is what I'm getting at. And, yes, he's dealt with injuries.
Younger than that, he's 26.
Even crazier.
Yeah.
And no one even realizes that, really. And, yes, there was times where, he didn't do much in the time he was in Buffalo in his first stint. But then there's other times where he had massive games. And what can he do differently? He gets open. We saw that yesterday. There's many times where Josh didn't even go to him, but if you looked on film, he was wide open, creating space, not making, Josh run around like, back and forth trying to buy time. Like, there was options, secondary options, and like I said, it just felt different. Yeah, Josh Allen, made mistakes, and especially to start off the game, that was really reckless. He didn't want to take the safety, but still, bad decision, inexcusable. And then the other time he forced it into Dawson Knox when he had openings. But then it seemed like from there on, we saw the old Josh Allen. You just mentioned it. He played free. Joe Brady was making calls that allowed Josh to go be Josh and make something happen. And, I mean, when you look at 3 turnovers and you look at, like I said, Shakir had negative yards, you're missing Dalton Kincaid. I don't know how they put up 44 points. It's almost amazing to see that they did that, because if this was another week, they would have lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible, right? And it's probably the first time, honestly, in a couple of weeks that we could probably have, in my mind, fair criticisms of the defense to a degree. It just really interesting. For as good as James Cook was in the pass game, he was, for what we know for him in the rush game, right?
Even mention him.
Practically
He
non-existent.
had 20-something yards through 3 quarters on the ground.
Yeah. Now, mind you, he did end up with the most rush yards for the Bills, but still, I like kind of looking at this from this perspective. I haven't done it personally a lot on this podcast, and maybe a little bit is unfair because I think for the crossover Bills and Syracuse Orange fans, it was pretty cool finally seeing Sean Tucker have a breakout game like that. But James Cook, 16 carries, 48 yards. Sean Tucker had 19 carries for 106. It's one of those things where I love Sean Tucker, as I just mentioned, but like James Cook is way better than Sean Tucker. And it's one of those things where I think if it wasn't for James Cook in the pass game yesterday, we might be having a little bit more of a different discussion involving him today. And I think that's a fair thing to bring up.
Yeah, but it was nice to see Joe Brady finally, call James Cook in the passing game more and keeping him on the field on 3rd downs. And then you looked right before halftime, the Bills don't just settle for a field goal. They be aggressive, and they, take a shot with Ty Johnson running on the sideline and has a big 52-yard touchdown to give them the lead at halftime. It almost, I think somebody said this yesterday. I don't know who, so I can't, tell you who, but it made sense. It's almost like Joe Brady heard, like, the rumblings and,
Yeah.
and stuff about Brian Dable, and it's like, all right, let's turn it up a notch. Let's go. Like, let me call stuff that I haven't been calling much. Let's just see what we have. And I don't think you can complain much about Joe Brady other than maybe that screen to Shakir where he lost -3 yards.
Yeah.
Everything was downfield. It wasn't screens. It wasn't, end arounds.
Yeah.
It just looked more like an NFL offense and more comfortable and less predictable.
Right. And I think to that end too, the screen portion of it's tough, right? Because you have to try and shake it up a little bit to a certain degree even in game, just for the sake of not falling into a very obvious rhythm of sorts. But yeah, that being said, if we're really only honing in on one play as a critic of Joe Brady criticism, that's a pretty good step as well in the right direction on that front. And something that we've talked about, obviously, for the better part of a month and a half now. So,
yeah, and one other quick thing, like, seriously, when I mean he was calling stuff different, Curtis Samuel was running way down the field.
Yeah.
Like, we've never seen that this year. And, the running backs, had 127 yards total receiving. They were using all of them, except Ray Davis. Ray Davis was, meant for kickoffs, but he did good on kickoff returns. And another thing is the drives. A lot of times this year we've been seeing the Bills go on these long 8-minute drives, 13, 14 plays. They didn't have a single touchdown drive over 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
8 plays, 70 yards, and 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Why? Because they had a vertical passing game. It's funny how that works. When you have options downfield, things work out better.
Yeah.
And it was just more smooth. I mean, yes, it's not going to be the same every week, and yes, it's totally different come Thursday. We'll get into it. But you got to feel good here compared to last week. The offense, was awful in Miami. 13 points.
Yeah, and that's the thing we talked about on here where, and we'll get into it obviously too. Anyway, there's stuff to I think discuss defensively for sure, but the defense for during this run has really kept the Bills in these games, right? And we were just kind of waiting for the offense to really kind of light the fire under the ass, and they did, to put it bluntly, right? Like, it kind of finally came to fruition a little bit. You saw it, and just a welcome sight, right? I mean, the fact that we're kind of coming out of the gate with this, and like the people know, I have the index card for our predictions this year that I've been writing out, and I mean, you were wrong, Kyle, and to that degree, Jim, who's not here this week, will be back next week. He did say the Bills would win, but he wasn't in a fully convinced blowout, or not really necessarily blowout, because I don't know if this is necessarily the blowout category, but he anticipated a very tight game, and we were all pretty wrong about that, and here we are a week later, feeling better than we did 7 days ago. So, good stuff there.
Yeah, and if I want to add a note here on the defense quick, definitely you can blame them. I mean, it's not like the other weeks, but I do have something that I don't think people realize. What did the Bills do in the second half? 12 points allowed.
Yeah.
Every week it seems like even when, there's a high-scoring game, we always talk about, for some good reason, they make second-half adjustments. 12 points allowed. I think only 70 rushing yards after giving up 140-something in the first half. Yeah. Baker, if you really look at the numbers, Baker was making plays, extending plays, being Baker. But look at their leading receiver. Would he have 40 yards? Sterling Shepard?
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered, that was a good passing defense. Just the run killed him. It was Sean Tucker that killed him.
Yeah. And even then, you mentioned the passing stuff in the second half particularly, or passing plays overall. Yeah, I mean, Shepard led the way, but, like, their bigger plays actually did come from Tucker, too, in the pass game, coming out of the flat. Like, it's just...
And what do they do in the second half?
Yeah.
They broke up two two-point conversions from the Buccaneers. So, the first half, I think, awful. Second half, okay, is how I would label it.
Yeah, and I think, personally, I want to go a hair deeper. It's something you brought up last year, actually. You can't have your secondary be guys leading tacklers. That happened yesterday for the Bills. Jordan Poyer led the way. Speaking of turning back the clock with Gabe Davis a little bit here, Jordan Poyer leading the way in tackles like it's 2022 or something. Like, but to that end, you're the one, Kyle, actually really brings it up a lot. Where, to me, was like the defensive line yesterday. I know they're dinged up and everything like that, but the Bills' defense as a whole is dinged up. But, I mean, just your upfront guys were held in check incredibly well in terms of that end yesterday. I remember in particular one play, Joey Bosa, who only had one tackle on the game yesterday. It was actually on a run play by Sean Tucker, and it wasn't a big play. I think Tucker busted out. It was only like a 6 or 7 yard run. But like Bosa just was kind of like frozen in his tracks. And that's not the Joey Bosa we kind of know. So I don't know if it was all those things that they saw maybe in their film prep necessarily, right? Or whether the Buccaneer O-line was just playing outside of their minds in that sense. I don't know, but yesterday was really, for me, the first time where I was kind of wondering what was up with the D-line to a bigger degree than maybe a lot of other people, I guess.
And what's wild is the Bills' defensive line has been top of the league in pressure rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're right. I mean, we didn't see much. I think Joey Bosa probably had his worst game, definitely as a Bill, but I think career-wise, he really was bad out there.
Yeah.
And then you look at other guys like A.J. Epinesa. Daquan Jones finally had a sack, but that came in like the final few minutes of the fourth quarter on a 4th down.
Yeah, and to that end, not to jump in and interrupt you here, but he had the Bills' lone sack, and they only got to Baker 3 times yesterday. So
Russo, nothing.
Yeah.
Paying him all this money, I say it
Right.
all the time. I mean, did not even get in his face once.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where I kind of viewed it as like, okay, I don't know what in particular this game, and like I said, maybe they saw something in the film, they prepped for it, they just missed on it, right? Or they just didn't play. It's possible, right? You play 17 games, not every game's going to be good,
Could be an outlier, could be just one of those. I mean, it's a week-to-week league. We
Yeah.
say it all the time.
Yeah.
What happened this week is not going to happen next week, usually.
Right.
So maybe that was one of the things.
But to that end, and look, like I said, it's not great that Poyer led the way in tackles for the Bills. One of those things, though, you mentioned half to half, I was really impressed with the way they kind of came up big in the second half, frankly, the secondary in terms of the passing game. They were able to hold guys in check. Mind you, the Buccaneers are not fully healthy in a lot of their big names, right? But, I mean, Emeka Egbuka was kind of irrelevant yesterday.
So shout out to Christian Benford for guarding him all game. Benford was on the field. Oh, get this. 100% of the snap.
Yeah.
Offensive snaps. 70 plays. Mm-hmm. And Jordan Poyer was out there 83%. So, and Cole Bishop. Shout out to Cole Bishop, too. 3rd interception. Just flying around the field. Mm-hmm. Completely changed his season around after the first 5-6 games. Dealt with injuries early in his career, but it just seems like since Jordan Poyer's come in and played with him alongside him, he's got confidence, and I mean, every time you look, he's flying around making tackles, and I just think that's a good sign for a young guy like that.
Yeah, sometimes you need that veteran presence.
And Maxwell Harrison's still, getting going. I mean, not really stuffing the stat sheet quite yet, but you see him out there, he's on the field a lot, and, I think there's good signs, and believe it or not, the Bills have allowed the 3rd least passing yards in the league. Mm-hmm. They're a good passing defense.
Yeah.
The run defense is what kills them.
Yeah, and we saw that in full display yesterday.
Yep.
To add to the Bernard thing especially, too, he was their second leading tackler for the Bills, had 2 of the 3 tackles for losses as well yesterday. So you want to talk about being all over the field? Terrell Bernard yesterday was certainly that, and then some. Yeah, let's go into it because it was a big storyline in the game itself anyway, too. Keon Coleman, it was a weird news break, admittedly. I got the notification, it was during the middle of the Europe game, so probably about 10:30, 11.
So you didn't hear about it Saturday night.
Correct. No, that's where I'm going with this. Keon Coleman was going to be a healthy scratch. The Bills loved what he was able to do in practice during the week, but we're hoping to kind of shore things up elsewhere within him being a player with the Bills. And so that tells me something clearly is up. Kyle, you mentioned the Saturday element of this. I've never heard of Cover One. I don't know who or what is behind it. I'm not going to pretend like I know, admittedly. But they were kind of the first ones on it, and then Schultz was on it, and then finally we get to game time. There was video of Keon Coleman obviously going in to the stadium and everything like that. But Keon Coleman, healthy scratch, turns out misses the team meeting on Friday. Sounds like this is not the first time that's been an issue. We're theorizing certain things about him all year at this point, really. And I said to you off air, and I'll bring it up here. All of this happening after the end of last week where, very interesting comments made by Josh Allen regarding him. Keon said essentially everything's great. Clearly not everything is great. And kind of allowed Gabe Davis to have an active role yesterday, and Mecole Hardman to have an active role yesterday. Just big at this point now. If you didn't have question marks as is, I don't know how you don't now regarding Keon Coleman.
Yeah, you said it's not the first time, and it's not since last year. It's the third time. We don't know if he was just late or if he's missed any of these meetings completely. But at the end of the day, it was a Friday meeting. Game days.
It's essentially a walkthrough day.
Yeah, game days like 48 hours away from that time. You're not playing well. You're inconsistent as hell. I mean, you haven't had a 100-yard game since week 1. You're supposed to be the number 1. You're a high draft pick, and you're gonna think it's okay to be acceptable to miss a third meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay. I loved Sean McDermott's quote. I don't know if you caught this. The ball finds people who work hard.
Yeah.
What a shot at Keon, and what a compliment to Tyrell Shavers.
Right.
And keep playing Tyrell Shavers. Send a message.
Yeah.
I also loved Deion Dawkins' quote. Keon knows now he's in the hot seat, and he needs to come on and show up for us. Pats on the back are over with, and it's time for him to grow up, and he knows it. And he said he talked to Keon too about it. Love the real stuff from Deion. I mean, Deion's been there forever. Mm-hmm. Deion's a veteran guy. I mean, it's not okay. The Buffalo culture doesn't represent what Keon's doing. No. And the way he's acting. And then, I don't know if you caught it pregame. And look, I'm not always about analyzing videos and how players are acting like this. But I didn't like that he's dancing, smiling, laughing during the warm-up with his coat on. It just, you missed your third meeting. You're not on the field. They drafted you. And you're going to act like that? I just don't like the behavior.
It's an element of, read the room, right?
Yeah,
more than anything else. And I don't know. We saw it, I guess, to a degree yesterday, not to say this is apples to apples, but, Shedeur Sanders finally gets a chance to play, right? Because of an injury, a concussion to Dylan Gabriel. And does not play well. And afterwards, he took ownership of it in the locker room, reportedly. But, at the end of the game, he's just kind of pouting in the corner. I'm just these guys got to read the room better, man. I get it. You're young. You're going to make mistakes. We've all been in that scenario in that sense. But, if I had just been told my actions have resulted in me as a healthy player at a position for my team that is at a premium right now and being withheld from playing this week, I think I would probably not be doing the things he was doing. And I mean, I mentioned the video of him walking in the stadium, and I'm assuming you saw it too, Kyle. I'm looking at him why? He just looked depressed. I'm well, dude, this is on you, man. You got to figure it out.
He's done it.
Yeah.
He got benched for the Patriots first quarter.
Yeah.
He got benched last year, I think it was against the Cardinals. And now Sean McDermott's we're done benching you in game. We're just going to healthy scratch you. Mm-hmm. And if he does it again, I mean, I really think, they're going to move on from him this offseason. I still think they kind of want to. Again, this is not the culture Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane have created since they came in 2017. You don't really see the Bills sign or, draft or trade for guys that act like this. That's why they had such a problem with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
The Bills try to create this great culture. That's why everyone says, we love playing there, or they'll go back. We always laugh, oh, Jordan Poyer's back. Oh, Trey White. Because they love how Buffalo is and what's created in that locker room. And Keon Coleman, I just can't believe they drafted him. He wasn't even the fit they needed.
Yeah.
And then they should have done more research on, how he is as a person. because he doesn't seem like a great guy. And then he's posting on Twitter these laughing emojis, quote retweeting fans that are telling him that he's done. So I don't know. It just seems like Dion said, he needs to grow up and learn, and it's year 2 for him.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think the runway's there for this to be turned around. It's not like this is a dead-end street and he's at the end of it already. But that being said, the intersection's approaching.
Yep.
The average, not to do that, but the average NFL career span is still only like 3.5 years. You're almost at the end. You're halfway through year 2. Let's figure this deal out.
Yeah, and as for him playing Thursday, until McCole Hardman got hurt, I thought there was no chance he was playing because it's a short week. And, look how good they were on the field without him. The chemistry between everyone else compared to that, you don't change what you just had. But I think the Hardman injury at least makes Keon Coleman active.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe, who knows, maybe Hardman will somehow play, but it's a hamstring injury. I don't know how you can turn it around and play 4 days later. And then, yes, you could just activate Elijah Moore and still bench Keon Coleman, but, it's not really, they're not the same players, so I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think the Hardman injury makes Keon Coleman active Thursday.
Yeah.
Based on my prediction.
Yeah. At the moment, Hardman still is listed as questionable at that end. Just spitballing the idea out here, obviously, to this end. Kincaid is still listed as a hard out per the injury report on ESPN right now. Obviously, we are, about an hour or so from any potential updates in the first place, but that's usually still another day or so out in the grand scheme of it. The only thing with that is the fact that, it's Thursday night this week for the game. It's a short turnaround, so whatever you're going to do, you're going to have to do it particularly quick, and to that end, I don't know if there's anybody else kind of available that you could go and grab from a practice squad or sign to your practice squad itself, but like I said, with the short turnaround, what it is, I just don't know if that's even a feasible option. I think we'll see. Whether they want to do it or not, probably we'll see Keon Coleman to some degree on Thursday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Kincaid didn't practice at all, not even limited all week. So, again, with the short turnaround, I don't see him being active either. I think they'll wait until the following week. Sunday, they'll be in Pittsburgh, 13 days from today.
Yeah. And that's the beauty about Thursday Night Football. And we got that on tap as well for the Bills. Obviously this week, facing the Houston Texans, a place that we've talked about a lot on here. The Bills, just for whatever reason, seem to struggle down there. Bills have, they are favorites. They're at 4.5 if you look at it that way. They actually opened at 3.5. Very interesting Texans team, to put it nicely, I guess, Kyle, as I would call it. I thought they were making the turn in the past couple weeks. Obviously, injuries and stuff like that are tough to navigate in that sense. C.J. Stroud was out yesterday with a concussion for the Texans. Davis Mills under center. To say his status for Thursday is cloudy still would probably be a bit of an understatement. It's one of those things where if you're the Bills, I think you have to prep for obviously both, and I'm sure they are. That's their professional football organization. Let's not act like they aren't. But it's tough, I think, in my mind, to not view it from the angle of it's probably going to be Davis Mills quarterbacking again for Houston as it stands right now, which makes me feel very differently about this game. Obviously, like we've been saying, it's a week-to-week league, especially Thursday night games tend to be, as I say, the most stupid form of football you can see. But I feel like talking about this game is very different if C.J. Stroud is for sure going to be under center or for sure out. Instead, we're kind of left in the limbo of probably assuming it's Davis Mills, and after the way they looked against Tennessee yesterday, I don't know. It feels like the Bills should have no issue here, but again, I don't think we can take the bait for that.
Yeah, the reason why I'm a little still worried about the game is because the Texans defense, man.
Yeah.
third in run defense, third in passing offense, the least amount of points allowed. I believe if I got the numbers I was researching last night, they haven't allowed not even an 80-yard rusher all year. Receiving wise, they just lock down receivers. They're just really, really good defensively. And they've won 2 straight. They've won 4 out of their last 5 to get back to 500. Even with Davis Mills yesterday, they did not look good in Tennessee, but the defense did enough to help them win that game, and that's kind of what they've done all year. So just based on the history, Josh Allen's 0-3 in Houston all time, the way their defense is, even though Davis Mills is starting, I'm still not 100% confident, but I do think the Bills will somehow pull out a win.
Yeah, it's hard to not probably feel that way based after yesterday, like I said, and to that end. Yeah, this defense, man, is so tough. DeMeco Ryans obviously is the defensive guy, their head coach.
Physical.
Yeah, you mentioned the physicality, kind of led for all the right reasons or all the wrong reasons by Aziz Al-Shair. You might have to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I mean, look, it's an all-around effort for them, man. They have one of my favorite guys in the NFL, and Daniil Hunter. He's their leading sack guy right now. It's one of those things where it kind of feels weird. We talk normally about the offenses of teams that the Bills face because just of the firepower, right? Like last week we talked a lot about Tampa Bay's offense, right? When we talked about the Miami game the week before that, it was more about even their offense and not their defense so much to that end. Kind of the first time, at least in a few weeks, we're talking mainly about a defense that the Bills are facing rather than the offense, and obviously justifiably so. To that end, Houston does have playmakers on their offense. Let's not act as if these guys are duds by any means, right? It's just, for whatever reason, that offense this year especially, it's a very stuck-in-the-mud offense. It doesn't help, as we mentioned, Stroud concussion. Don't know what you're facing there. But even then, right, Woody Marks came out of the gate really hot, rookie running back, stalled out a little bit. Nick Chubb is now their number 1 guy again. The passing game, Nico Collins is their leading receiver. That's not surprising. I think what's surprising there is the fact that the numbers for him is 49 receptions for 642 yards on the year. I don't think we necessarily expected that maybe low of a number at this point for a guy like Nico Collins. So just kind of like one of those things where, I still worry about the guys on that side of the ball, but like, until the Texans prove me otherwise on that, and it's hard not to maybe put them as your second worry compared to their defense, I guess.
Yeah, their offense doesn't really scare me, but then again, who knows against the Bills? Especially their running backs. Nick Chubb leads with 419 yards, which of course is not a lot. It's way down to the bottom of the league, but when you face the Bills, usually as a running back, you have your day.
Yeah.
So who knows? It's mainly just, will the Bills' offense do enough against the Houston defense? And last year, they really struggled. They ended up getting it to 2020 last year in Houston. They lost on a walk-off field goal. So they battled back. But, for whatever reason, Houston just seems to be the place that, nothing goes right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a tough spot here as we probably get into the more actual prediction of the game where from a betting perspective, the past few Thursday night games, I've kind of ridden the fact that, at least on the spread, no matter what, I'm taking the underdog, and that's paid off pretty well. Head-to-head wise, maybe not as much, but Thursday nights is such a crapshoot. There's a lot more momentum around it. It's not going to change because of TV money, obviously, but a lot more momentum around it right now in terms of whether or not it's a good thing. But I do think the Bills win. That being said, it's in Houston. It's Thursday night. I am not a fan of a lot of that overall. So I think the Bills do keep that winning momentum up. I'm going to go 29-24. They get the win in Houston.
I'm going to go lower scoring, which I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's Thursday night. That's what I'm factoring in. So Bills 23, Texans 19.
I mean, but me and you essentially, with that we essentially have the same idea about how this game is probably going to go. So there's that.
It's not going to be like we're coming off this game that we just saw 9 lead changes,
Yeah.
second most in NFL history, to this Thursday night game. The entertainment side of things are going to be way different.
Yeah.
You're going to go from way up there to like down there a little bit, but no,
You mean to tell me that you're not excited to learn about C.J. Stroud from Ohio State? You know, when he was at Ohio State, Kyle. I don't know if you're catching on to what I'm doing, but it's more a shot at Herb Street.
Well, speaking of them,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy their broadcast
It's
because
it's a tough hang.
It's so relaxed. There's no hype. Like,
I like the quality in terms of like the production. It's a great picture. It's crisp. I don't want to disrespect Al Michaels. He's a legend, obviously, but
I've always said it. You probably know this, but I just like the way Kevin Harlan calls a game. The excitement, the calls, like the juice he has. It's like if you put him next to Al Michaels, even though Al's been around forever, I'm taking Kevin Harlan.
No, I'm with you.
And I'm even taking the guy from Sunday Night Football, Mike Tirico.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm just not I don't like his energy.
I'm a big Sean McDonough guy. I like energy. Give me energy, you know?
And even yesterday, Ian Eagle, Charles Davis. I mean, I like that crew too. I mean, I think Al Michaels might be at the bottom of the list.
It's tough. I hate to say the game has passed the guy by, but I don't know, man.
Have you ever switched broadcast on Thursday night? Oh, you don't have Amazon Prime.
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Have you ever done the thing at the bottom where you can change it to all 22 and it shows you a Madden shot?
I haven't, no.
It's so much better. You can see the field, who's running routes, who's
Probably
open.
should. That's the way I like watching football. I mean, that's the way.
It's Madden, literally a Madden view.
I mean, that's the way when I had my season tickets for Syracuse for football. I mean, we were the last row, so we could
so
see
that's the
everything.
view,
Yeah. So.
And it shows up like, of course, all the analytical stats, which I only watch because I want to see who's getting open downfield.
And you have to listen to Al Michaels and Kurt Herbstreit.
Still. Would have been nice if they had like an alternate broadcast with some other guy.
I'm surprised they don't. I thought they did, but maybe
I think they just have guys that like come on and
yeah,
like little quick hits, like little stats. But yeah, Amazon Prime's quality wise is okay for me.
Yeah,
announcers no.
Yeah,
but whatever. I mean, we're gonna keep dealing with Thursday Night Football. There's gonna be no changes.
Right.
It's money. That's
100%. 100%. So. All right, I think that about does it. I don't think we missed anything necessarily, right? Oh, well, we kind of skipped over because they won, but Dion Dawkins and who was it got into it on the sideline a little bit? But I know Spencer Brown had to get in between them. I think that's more stuff under the bridge at this point, water under the bridge because of the wind and everything. So
I saw Dion get into it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but not this past week, unless I missed it. But
either way,
I mean, we can quickly talk about like the NFL standings picture as a whole. What is going on? Like the Chiefs are essentially 2 games out of a playoff spot.
Yeah,
they hold the tie. The teams ahead of them hold the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what's his face Barnwell for ESPN?
I don't.
He did an article today, and I do agree with him. It's a really great read if you want to go, if you care enough about the game itself to go and read. He brought up a good point where the Chiefs probably aren't technically broken, but they're more than likely out of the playoffs at this point. And he just brings up a bunch of different points about like the structure and stuff like that and adaptability, but yeah, it's not good. I mean, Denver has a tiebreak on them now. Now, mind you, they face off again, obviously. I think it's Christmas Day maybe or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, even with the loss yesterday, they're still looking up at the Chargers, too, in that division. So
the Chargers have the tiebreaker. The Jaguars have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean,
Bills have the tiebreaker.
It's not looking good for them. That's for sure.
You know who they play this Sunday, right? You're not going to believe this.
I do.
Colts.
Ooh, well, that'd be an interesting.
You see a world where they're 5-6.
That's crazy,
and basically 3 games out at that point.
Yeah,
and then yes, the Ravens are gonna freaking win that division.
The
Browns couldn't
pull
it off.
Mind you, they won, but that was ugly.
Lamar did not look good.
No,
but then again, that shows Cleveland's defense is real. If they had any offense, man, like
how many sacks did Myles Garrett have again yesterday?
I'm not sure, maybe
crazy.
3, or am I way off?
I mean, I've been a Myles Garrett.
15 on the year.
I've been a Myles Garrett fan since he was in college. That dude is an animal. My God.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to have him on my team.
And that defense overall is legit, man. That offense has completely sold them out this year.
They've been solid. I mean, I can remember last year they won some games they had no.
They've always had, the past few years, even in the Baker times, they've always had at worst a very solid defense.
They can't figure out the quarterback.
Yeah.
Literally, and then they're handing out contracts they shouldn't.
They had it figured out, but now he plays for Tampa Bay. So,
and then
Patriots got it done Thursday night. That's what I brought up though on the betting side of things. Patriots won. They didn't cover, but they won. And now they find themselves with everything the way it shook out. They're at the top of the AFC now, which is crazy.
5-0 on the road. I mean, of course the Bills will play them again, which the Bills have to win to even have a slight chance still. But I keep telling everyone, you have to make up 3 games in 7 weeks?
Pretty much.
Because they hold the tiebreaker. Yes, one of the games you can beat them head-to-head, but
it's
look
still
at the Patriots' schedule, the easiest remaining schedule.
And even then in football, 3 games in 7 weeks is near impossible. It's not like baseball in that sense.
You need the Patriots to lose multiple games.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I still can't believe that Monday night game in Atlanta, what the Bills did.
Yeah.
And that game against Miami. I mean, those are killers right now.
Yeah.
Even as for the 1 seed, they could be so alive right now with the Colts and Broncos. And man, you just watch the Falcons every Sunday. Like yesterday, another blown lead. They put up all them points and they blow the lead.
Now it might be Big Kirko time.
And then the injuries. Drake London hurt. Michael Penix shooting. Like, what is this franchise?
It's the Falcons, man. It's the Falcons.
And then Jacksonville, what they did to the Chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, not even competitive. And then you look and they're 1 game difference.
Yeah.
So the AFC is getting really interesting.
Yeah, the NFC on that end is a mess too, essentially.
I mean, the Eagles again.
Hey, yeah,
my God.
That wasn't DPI.
Yeah.
Right?
Not at all. Why are I said it last week, the Eagles, how are they so bad offensively?
Yeah.
The Lions defense is not a top defense.
No.
They're at home. You got the weapons. A.J. Brown finally led in receiving.
It makes no sense, but even then, though, it's not like it was. I have him in fantasy. It's not like he had a great game.
No.
Yeah.
So,
it's the NFL this year, man. It's a crapshoot.
Last thing. Let's just wrap it up here. If you had to choose one team right now that you'd pick, what team is the best team in football right now in your mind? It could be AFC, NFC. Man. And it doesn't even really have to be because they're at the top of the league.
I'm going to take probably I don't know if it's a team that people have kind of forgotten about or maybe not pay attention, or if they are, they're going to call me crazy. I'll probably go with the Rams.
No way. I was just going to say
I'm a big Rams guy.
And then I'd put Broncos too because
the defense for them or
their offense will figure it out.
Yeah. But I mean the Rams,
they're low key.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, people have not
Stafford should be way up in the MVP conversation.
Yeah. I'd go with the Rams. I think after them it's hard maybe I know why you're doing Denver. I think right now it's hard to not say the Patriots though. I know it's sacrilegious here on Bills Weekly to say that.
I think, including myself, I think it's just because on paper you see their team.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just don't think people trust them still. And then I just mentioned the easy schedule part.
Well, the interesting part to me is I was very high on the Colts, but I think if you forced me into a corner, I'd probably go Rams, I'd go Patriots. I think I'd do Broncos after.
Colts are maybe 4, I would say.
I feel weird. I don't know. Do I go Seahawks after that even too? Before I get to the Colts?
Yesterday changed my mind a little bit on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Just because they actually played a really good defense. Yeah. And look, Darnold, 4 picks.
I will say this. I don't think it's anybody in the NFC East. I don't think it's anybody in the NFC North.
No.
Definitely not. Well, I don't know about definitely. I still have Tampa Bay pretty high up there personally, but I don't think I can justifiably put them up there before I could do. even like Buffalo. Buffalo has them head-to-head, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I know for sure for me the Rams are number one. I just, like you said, I think people have just kind of forgotten about them to a degree. And yeah, the couple losses for them haven't been great, but I don't know, they're beating the good teams. It's hard to go against that.
Yeah, and I mean, you look, the Eagles are 8-2, the Rams are 8-2. I mean, you feel way better about the Rams.
For sure.
Like
100%.
There's no way Eagles fans even feel good about that record.
Yeah.
8-2. I mean, look how you're playing.
Yeah. Now, mind you, the Eagles have the head-to-head technically on them.
Yep.
I view that as more on the
back down 19-1.
Correct, but I view that more on the Rams than I do the Eagles than anything else that game. So.
And the fake Bears, let's not even include them.
No.
7-3. Oh, so good.
I'll say this: they're playing better than I thought they were going to. That being said, I don't know if that's just more surroundings at this point. I didn't have really any faith in the Vikings this year, just to be straight up honest. I have lost faith in the Packers at this point.
Still probably win the division, though.
Yeah.
There's no way they close that division out.
And then obviously the Lions, even with the loss last night,
hard to believe they're 6-4 now.
Yeah. But either way, week-to-week league.
And remember, if Denver gets the 1 seed, 6-0 at home, you don't want to go to Denver in the playoffs.
No.
So the Patriots and the Patriots and Colts better somehow pass them because it's going to be a tough time in Denver.
Yes, it will be.
In January.
It will be, that's for sure. So, all right, hey, let's ask again next week. We'll probably have a different answer. So
yeah, that's how the league is.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, the word is stupid.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's happening. And some of the performances, it's like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah. Hey, it's the beauty of the NFL. So, all right, Cal, I think that about does it then for this week. We'll be back at it again next Monday. I know normally we do right after the game next day, but we're just going to reset, do it next Monday, especially at that point. It'd be well over a week, obviously, until the Bills' next game if we did it Friday anyway. So we're going to be at it next Monday, going into Thanksgiving next week. So look forward to that. So next Monday, 10 a.m. for Bills Weekly. Can find Bills Weekly and all our FingerLakes1.com podcasts on FL1, the FL1 YouTube channel, and all major podcasting platforms. Appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. We will talk again next week. And as always, let's go Buffalo.